Hello, everyone. Kyle Chambers here with the QMS Bootcamp. So today we are going to dig into talking about writing the quality policy. As a ISO auditor, internal auditor, consultant, let me tell you, I've seen a lot of different versions of a quality policy, and folks really struggle with what to document in it, how to say it, like what are the necessary requirements, and really what is it even about? Why do we even need it? So those are the questions I hope to answer for you today. So if you're not familiar with QMS Bootcamp, I'll tell you what this is. This is the free live stream version of the classroom training that we have actually conducted for several years now. QMS Bootcamp is engineered and geared towards the quality manager, small business owner, operations manager working in the quality management world. We really want to give you the tools and strategies you need to implement, maintain, and integrate the quality management system with the rest of your organization. So let's jump in to talking about the quality policy today. So let's take a look at the ISO standard itself. So if we are looking at the ISO standard, talking here about the ISO 9001 standard, although you will find that the requirements for this are virtually identical when it comes to health and safety, when it comes to environmental management, really whatever that niche area you're working with is, just replace quality with health and safety, and then we'll kind of re-engineer and go from there. But this is a great example. So let me get down here to the table of contents again. So all the major clauses of the standard, of course. So we are going to go into the leadership clause. So that should tell you a little bit about the quality policy. The ISO standard considers quality policy a critical part of leadership. So right next to customer focus. So if you're familiar with the quality management principles, if not, we've got some awesome podcast series on those. So just look up #QualityMatters and you can find those. I'll make sure that the link to some of those episodes are in the show notes here. But if you take a look at the quality management principles, what you're going to find is customer focus and leadership are right there at the very top. So no surprise that is also pretty quick on our list here today. So first, we talk about leadership commitment. And so this does matter because the quality policy is the mission, the vision, the one document that outlines why quality matters to us. So it says here, the top management shall demonstrate leadership and commitment with respect to the quality management system by. So we want to take accountability for the effectiveness. We want to ensure here's that word, quality policy and quality objectives are established for the quality management system. This is a function of top management. So, did not mean to press that. So if you are let's say you're the quality manager, right? So you're the quality manager. Part of your job as quality manager is to review our non-conformances, our corrective actions, to maintain our calibrated equipment list. Maybe you're involved in maintaining training. You've got your hands in a lot of places. And you may be the person that approves this procedure and approves that work instruction, approves this corrective action. You can't be that person here. Here, the quality policy and quality objectives are very clearly delegated to top management. So let's make certain we know who top management is. Small companies, sometimes those lines are blurred, but it really needs to be top management that's signing off and approving this. So, again, leadership's job is to ensure integration of the quality management system, right? Promote the use of process approach, risk-based thinking. I think maybe we've talked about that a few times in these courses, and I'm certain we'll talk about it a few more before it's all said and done. They want to communicate the importance of an effective quality management system. That's key. That the quality policy can be a fantastic tool there. We want to engage, direct, support people to contribute to the effectiveness of the quality management system. All very key, vital things. So we'll skip over customer focus right now. Just know that anything we do ultimately kind of has to point to our customer. How does quality impact our customer? If this was health and safety policy, how does our health and safety impact our customer? So let's come down here to clause 5.2 for establishing the quality policy. Again, top management. You don't get to get off on this one. Top management shall establish, implement, and maintain a quality policy. Let me interrupt myself here real quick and say it is perfectly fine if the quality manager or the department leaders write the policy, but understand the top management shall implement and maintain it. So establish doesn't necessarily mean they have to write all the content on it, but they have to be on board with it. So we want to make certain that the quality policy is appropriate to the purpose and the context of the organization and its strategic direction. Okay, well, this is kind of an important one here. We've talked about context of the organization, so be sure to check out that video discussing context of the organization. It's effectively how you fit into the world around you, how you fit into the market, really all of these, pretty critical details. So we have to address that context somehow. Here's a hint. Don't use the word context to do it. That's very poor lip service that makes for a meaningless mumbo jumbo of quality words that no one on your team will be inspired by. We want to make sure that it provides a framework for setting our quality objectives. Your quality policy does not need to state the quality objectives. Do not state that this is providing a framework for quality objectives. What it means is that when it comes time to document those quality objectives, you have to be able to explain this objective helps us meet the policy. This objective helps us here. This objective helps us here. It all has to funnel up into this one main vision. Includes a commitment to satisfy all applicable requirements. Okay, so this is one where we kind of do have to give a little bit of lip service to the standard, but we can have some fun with it. And includes a commitment to continual improvement of the quality management system. So we have to outright state something about meeting requirements. We have to outright state something about continual improvement. Now, please, for crying out loud, don't simply state continual improvement. And then when the audit comes around and the auditor asks you, what have you done in regards to continual improvement this year? If you have to sit there and, we kind of, continual improvement has to be at the core of your quality management system. The whole reason we track nonconformities, corrective actions, we maintain these calibrated equipment lists. The reason we do all of this stuff is not just to meet the requirements, but to meet the requirements and continually improve. If 2020 hasn't taught us anything, it should have taught us the need to be willing and able and prepared to adjust, to flex, to change, to improvise, to massive changes in the context of our organization. Everything about the COVID lockdowns, this was all so much a response to context of the organization. So really, really key to look at and think about. So then we're going to go into communicating the quality policy. Okay, so it's got to be available, maintained, and documented information. Documented information's got its own quirks and requirements, but that means that it has to be approved by top management, has to approve it. We want to make sure it's communicated and understood and applied within the organization. So if you take that quality policy and you just tack it up there on the wall, well, everyone has it. We told them to look at it. I'm going to call BS on that in an audit. Folks do not need to recite it word for word verbatim. Let me tell you, the shops that I've gone into where it is very, very clear that folks understood this quality policy and understood the requirements of it. These are organizations where the people could not recite it word for word, but dadgum, they could tell you their role in the quality management system, and every time it matches that quality policy. Different words, different angle, but they clearly understand what we're going after, and that is fantastic. You can tell real quick about how well your company meets existing requirements and responds to these ever-changing market conditions we have. You look on the news today, they say we're headed for a recession or worse because of inflation. Lord knows I don't know what's true about it or not, but what I do know is that the organizations that can respond to those changes in the context that we sit in are the ones that will be successful. Those organizations happen to coincide. If we made a little Venn diagram, I guarantee every one of those organizations that can respond quickly and meets those requirements, their people could also recite a really darn good version of that quality policy. It must be made relevant to interested parties as appropriate. So interested parties could be your auditor, could be some legal requirements, could be your customers, who knows, but you need to be willing to share it. This is not an internal secret. This needs to be made available to folks as required. So that's really all we have on the quality policy. But you'll see that there's really not much in the way of a good example here, is there? So that's what we're going to discuss here a little bit, is how do we actually write a meaningful quality policy that's not just poor lip service. I'll tell you what lip service is. And I've seen this a number of times, unfortunately. So let's go. Sorry, let me scroll down here a little bit to where I want to be. And let's put that back on the screen real quick. So it says top management shall establish, implement, and maintain a quality policy that, and we've seen this before, XYZ machine shop shall ensure that our quality management system fits the context of our organization and the strategic direction of the company. We are providing a framework for quality objectives, and we will satisfy all legal and other requirements while maintaining a system geared towards continual improvement. Bah. I mean, really, who's going to listen to that? Who's going to be inspired by that? No one. That's what this is about. This is about inspiring your team, building a vision. You know, it says in Proverbs that where there is no vision, the people will perish. I think 2020 was a good example of that for us. So we have to have this vision around quality. So let's have some fun. So let's have a fictitious machine shop. Let's say we've got 100, 120 employees. Maybe we do like a overhauls and repairs and remanufacture of components. So we got a good idea. And we're going to call this fictitious machine shop, I don't know, let's see, I don't want to say something that actually turns out to be a business out there. So we'll just say ACME Machining. Okay, so ACME Machining had about 100, 120 employees, and we do repair and overhaul of our equipment. Awesome. Okay. Well, what are we going to write for that quality policy? What are we going to say we do? So, well, let's kind of just look at what the policy says, and let's see if we can put some fun stuff to it. So top management shall establish, implement, and maintain that's appropriate to the purpose and context of the organization and its strategic direction. Well, let me just go ahead and open up Word here in just a minute. Let me get that opened up. I should have had that pulled up before we got started. So let me open up a Word document here. We'll just have some fun writing it for this business right here and right now. All right, forgive me. I think my computer is running its absolute max right now trying to do all this. So that's what I get for trying to run off of a tablet, just a full-blown computer. In any case, let's go ahead and open up a new document here, and I'll get the screen shared. Throw that up there. All right. So here we've got this. Let's just do a little split screen here. We'll have some fun. Awesome. So we have in our quality policy says that it has to be appropriate to the purpose and context of the organization. So tell me, why on earth does your business exist? What makes the world better today that you were here operating than it would if you weren't? Well, let's say maybe you're a low-cost provider. Fantastic. We all need those, especially these times of year. Maybe on the other hand, you're really pushing hard for the absolute best possible quality. So whatever it is, let's talk about it. So let's say here that ACME, here, let's blow that font up so everyone can read it on the screen. So ACME Machine and Repair provides quick turnaround, custom machine work for the oil and gas industry. Okay. Y'all will find that I am absolutely notorious for poor spelling. So no comments there, folks. It's just what it is. There we go. Here we go. My computer does not want to right click. There we go. Okay. So, you know, that kind of actually sets us in our context. Like, what do we do? Why do we exist? Well, we provide a quick turnaround for the oil and gas industry. Maybe this is local to the Houston, Texas, and greater Southwest region. That's pretty good. Okay, so now we're kind of getting on track here. And that doesn't really tell us a whole lot what we do, but you know, it's really setting the stage. So when we go to talking about quality objectives, well, we've got some details here that are important. We said quick turnaround, custom machine, that could influence some of our objectives. So we want to provide a framework for setting those objectives. Well, we kind of have here. So what might some objectives be? So let's have some objectives that we could discuss here, and we'll make this a policy. So objective, our first objective is 24-hour or less response to inquiries for service. I think that is a fantastic objective for this fictitious company here is, man, we want to be quick on the mark to let you know what we can do for you. All right, that's great. So let's go ahead and blow this up a little bit bigger, make it easier to see. Maybe another objective could be, you know, on-time delivery. And we want that to be at 98%. Okay, and there's some ways that we can measure on-time delivery, and I think we've actually got a quality minute video from a couple years back about that. But, you know, we can set that goal there. And, you know, maybe a third one here could be get it right the first time, especially if we're a quick turnaround custom shop. Like, there's not a lot of room for error here. So we want to get it right the first time. We're going to say that we're going to have a very adventurous goal of 99%. So what that means is get it right the first time. We're not doing internal rework. This isn't even talking about what we deliver to the customer. This is internal rework. We're going to get it right the first time, no reworks. So these could be some really fantastic objectives for this company. Well, let's take a look at what the standard says here. You know, I'm going to ditch that split screen. I think that's probably a little hard for you guys to see. So it includes a commitment to satisfy applicable requirements. Okay, so how are we going to word that? Well, let's take a look at the next line here. These two often go together. Includes a commitment to continually improve the quality management system. All right, so we'll say here, ACME Machine and Repair. Let's see, this is where we want to talk a little bit about our values. Because yes, we want to hit requirements, but I mean, let's be honest. No company, let's say not no company, no one should ever set out to say, you know, we're just going to find the laws that we don't like and we're going to ignore those. We're going to find all the little customer requirements that we don't like and we're just going to ignore those. Industry best practices, who cares? I'm going to do it my way. Hey, you're not going to be successful doing that, right? So it's kind of implied that we're going to meet those requirements. So what is it about us that makes it easier? What is it about us that makes it better? So if, again, we're this machine shop, we're the local provider, quick turnaround, custom work. Well, how are we going to make sure we meet those requirements? Well, to me, if you're doing a quick turnaround custom work, you know, you really, really got to have a good production plan in place for this project. So you need to know very quickly all of the key requirements you need to hit and how you're going to do it. And custom work requires a little bit larger staff of skilled, highly trained experts. If you're making the same widgets over and over and over and over, you can get guys who are really good at this part of the process, really good at that product process. But if you tried to switch them out or swap them, it probably wouldn't work well. But in custom work, we really got to have a lot of people that can work a lot of different directions. So again, putting myself in the shoes of this fictitious company, I really think that our skilled and trained craftsmen are hugely important. Believes that skilled and trained craftsmen are vital to, spell properly here, vital to meeting the requirements of our customers, industry, best practices, and other legal requirements. So we hit it. We did a little bit of lip service, but we're really setting the stage for how do we intend to hit these requirements. Again, let's go to say maybe we're making widgets. All right, so we're making a lot of widgets. If we're making a lot of widgets, well, these skilled craftsmen aren't vital, but documented, firm work instructions, huge body of knowledge, these are things that could really help us meet those requirements. But here, with small, custom, quick turnaround machine shops, let's take a look at what we've got here on the screen. So yeah, here's our policy. Of ACME Machine and Repair provides quick turnaround custom machine work for the oil and gas industry, local to the Houston, Texas, and greater Southwest region. ACME Machine and Repair believes that skilled and, we're going to say highly trained craftsmen are vital to meeting the requirements of our customer, industry, best practices, and other legal requirements. So now the only piece left for us to hit here is the commitment to continual improvement of the quality management system. So how are we going to talk about our commitment to continual improvement? And these are the conversations you really just have to have internally and with yourself, is how are we going to get better next year than we are this year? Well, that's always a good question, because this is one of the pieces that gets so much lip service. So let's put ourselves back in the shoes of this company. We do very quick turnaround. So we want to be very quick on the plan, very quick to respond, on time, right the first time, are very, very critical to us. So, well, then to me, the only way that we can get better next year from what we did this year is learning from any mistakes we might have made. And I would also imagine that even with this custom work, that over time, you're going to start seeing things repeat. And so standardizing some of the common requirements could be a fantastic way to ensure you're better next year than you are this year. So let's see if we can come up with something that sounds pretty good there. All right, so let's take a look here. Top management strives to build a culture around continual improvement by documenting best practices and the sharing of knowledge and skills internally. So in this, I'm kind of imagining, well, maybe we hold like a monthly workshop where one of the old timers gets up and talks about things that he's done over the past 30 or 40 years, and really, really share and embed that knowledge. And let me tell you, if you're doing that, you're gonna have a culture around continual improvement. So let's maybe shrink the font here a little bit so we can kind of look at it all on one sheet, and then we'll do a little audit against the standard and see if we hit our requirements. So here's our quality policy. ACME Machine and Repair provides quick turnaround custom machine work for the oil and gas industry, local to the Houston, Texas, and greater Southwest region. ACME Machine and Repair believes that skilled and highly trained craftsmen are vital to meeting the requirements of our customers, industry best practices, and other legal requirements. Top management strives to build a culture around continual improvement by documenting best practices and sharing skills internally. Our objectives are 24-hour or less response to inquiries for service. Hey, that fits with our policy. On time, there we go, see, on time delivery, and get it right the first time. Well, what's our standard say? Appropriate to the purpose context, we got it. Framework for the objectives, we got it. Continue commitment to satisfy applicable requirements, got it. We even listed what we think those are. Includes a commitment to continual improvement of the quality management system. Definitely, we got that. We're focusing here on our policy more on the awareness and training and understanding. But since that's really what we base, our level of quality off of, it's a perfect angle to go. Now we got to communicate it. So it has to be available and maintained as documented information. Well, in this company, I imagine that we have a core group of folks that have been doing this for a long time, and, maybe it's the founding team, maybe it's just some guys that have been here for a number of years, but they're really, really critical to our operations. These are the folks that need to be teaching and training about the quality policy. These are the folks that need to really be educating them. And if part of our policy is the sharing and dispersing of knowledge and skills, like, man, one of these monthly powwows that we have would be fantastic to begin communicating this policy. And then those guys you hired this year, 3 or 4 years later, maybe they start to realize, hey, we're part of that trickle down effect of the body of knowledge and skills and experience we have here. They can really begin to embody, and it becomes a tool to empower employees to do more, to find opportunities to improve, to eliminate defects, to eliminate waste. And it really sets up just a fantastic foundation to work from. So that would be a fantastic way of getting it communicated. Again, so much better than just nailing it up on the wall and hoping that people look at it. Look, I'll tell you from personal experience, hanging something up on the wall for them to look at is the guaranteed best way that they're not going to read it and they're not going to memorize it. You might think we've made it available for them. Yes. But let's be honest, how many times in the break room has someone actually sat there and read all of the HR policies that are up there about discrimination, about vacation policy, about this, about that, about the other? Like, people don't go to the break room to read the stuff on the wall. They go to the break room to get a cup of coffee, to get lunch, to talk. That's what they do. So if we're going to communicate it, that's kind of not our best option. So it must be communicated, understood, and applied within the organization. So however we make this available and however we document it, let me pull up the standard here. So it has to be available as documented information, must be communicated, and must be available to relevant interested parties. So we really need to define what are the ways that we're going to disseminate this information. Where you document that is actually going to likely be in your quality manual. Your quality manual will state, we communicate the quality policy via XYZ means, by including it in our monthly or quarterly team trainings. Maybe we have our employees take a quiz on it. Maybe we communicate it in every management meeting. Maybe we put a copy of it in the break room. Maybe we put a copy of it on our website. But you want to detail where and how you communicate these. And then me, as an auditor, what I'm going to do when I come in is I'm just going to walk up to a guy, shake their hand, ask them what they're doing, and I'm going to ask them, how does your job support the quality policy? I don't ever ask them what the policy is because I really don't expect people to memorize it verbatim. But if I ask them, how does your job relate to the quality policy? Oh, well, now I can start looking for language as he talks to see if that language lines up with what we've got written here. And if that is the case, well, then let me tell you real quick, that quality policy is now well understood and very well applied within our organization. So that's it. Writing the quality policy really isn't that difficult of a thing to do, but it can be a fantastic, very fantastic, wonderful tool for inspiring your team, for engaging your team, really rallying people around the cause. Now, again, we can modify our approach here instead of quality to health and safety, to environmental, maybe different ESG concerns. All of these things are going to fit into that same framework and the same method of analyzing and documenting it. The biggest thing to remember when writing any of these, whether it's the policy, the objectives, procedures, manual, whatever it is, You are documenting what you do as an organization within the context of the requirements of the standard. This is your business. No one else can write it as well as you can. So just keep that in mind. If you have any questions, if you maybe would like a quick review of the policy, you're trying to put something together, seriously, let me know. All of my contact info is going to be down there. Probably the best way to get a hold of me is either email or LinkedIn. Any case, let me know. I'll be happy to talk to you. And, if we can help you out any further, I'd be glad to. Y'all have a great day and hope to see you soon.